So today I'm talking to you about the disappointment of being let down. Now, I've touched on this yesterday about people letting you down when it comes to meetings and scheduling appointments between people, but this is when somebody lets you down in another way. And how do you deal with that? So if you've been let down by people in life, which inevitably pretty much everyone has, how can you deal with this a little bit better? Keep on watching, keep on listening, and hopefully I'll help you. Welcome back to consecutive day 1590 of a diary of a Runpreneur. If you believe in my mission of saving the lives of children by attempting the ultimate ultramarathon of run vlogging on consecutive days, distance and lap of the world, barefoot style, and do give this a subscribe, share, like and comment. More people we get in front of, more money we raise, more children's lives we save, which is why I do this every single day. Thank you as always, and let's get started. So, consecutive day 1590 of a diary of a Runpreneur. And today's episode is all about that feeling of being let down. And I've been let down in a pretty bad way in business. So one of my colleagues has done something or forgot to do something which is going to have potentially pretty significant consequences for the business. And ultimately, the kind of emotions that I've been through since discovering this earlier today is anger, it's disappointment, it's anxiety of what the ramifications of this mistake is going to be, and I just feel gutted. And it's how do I process this now? How do I deal with it? Now, I've not yet spoken to the individual in question. Obviously, I will be doing that probably tomorrow. I've only found out about this outside of working hours, so I'm not going to deal with it until tomorrow during working hours. How am I going to deal with it is the ultimate question, and I'm not sure is the honest answer. Now, I'm pretty sure, or in fact, I'm 100% sure that this individual just made a mistake. They've forgot to do what they needed to do. I'm not going to go into specifics, but the impact could be fairly significant, to say the least, or a costly financial impact. Just going past these kids. Oh yeah. And yeah, so I'm talking this through on the go. This is the raw emotions, because I only found out about this about an hour ago, or less than an hour ago, maybe half an hour ago. So I've not yet ultimately decided how I'm going to deal with it, but I'm pretty sure one thing: if I dealt with it when I first found out about it, it would probably be the wrong way to deal with it. And you know, in all honesty, I haven't officially dealt with it, but I have sent some communication about it to this individual. Not just pretty direct, but not, you know, too aggressive or showing an side of anger. Just clarifying the situation, I might add. But in hindsight, I probably should have waited for that as well. Although there's two kind of thought processes that goes through my mind here. Is invariably when I sit down with this individual tomorrow, thank you, is it better for them to know in advance of the meeting so that they can potentially prepare, or is it better for them not to know and then just spring it upon them in the meeting? I always think give people advance notice is potentially better, so that they can look into the events of what's happened and the facts can be gathered prior to the meeting. Will we be able to rectify it? I'm not sure. I'm genuinely not sure. It's to do with, well, without going into too much detail, it's to do with a legal dispute, which we are 100,000% not in the wrong. Okay, it's someone who's quite bitter, who we were supposed to go through with a deal, and it didn't go through for whatever reason. We'd not signed any documentation or contract, so there was no liability with us. We couldn't proceed with the deal because we hadn't obtained all the relevant permissions in the legal trail to be able to proceed with the deal. That's all I'm going to say at this stage. And so that individual puts in a claim against us for pulling out of a deal that didn't even exist. There was no contractual agreement. Now, the way the legal system works in the UK is when someone puts a claim in against you, you have 30 days to respond, provide your evidence, and then it goes back and forth. This individual who was dealing with this was tasked at the time to submit the required information, which would have been blatantly obvious that we were not liable in any way, shape or form. But for whatever reason, this individual forgot to do this. The deadline then passes, and then judgment is then authorised against us. So we're then hit with a financial penalty, a pretty significant one that we shouldn't be. So I'm going to turn up to this meeting tomorrow, and I know firsthand 100% this was just a mistake, but it's had pretty significant financial ramifications on me personally and the business. When I say me personally, ultimately, if it's paid, my profits or proportion of my profits will be what is used within the company to pay this. So it's an indirect personal impact on me, and I just don't know how best to deal with it, because ultimately it's a mistake. It's a pretty costly one, but this individual has run through brick walls for me in the past, and I know that they always have the best intentions. So when mistakes are made, usually I'm pretty forgiving and pretty easygoing about things. My rules are simple: just don't make the same mistake twice. And on that basis, this is the first time this type of mistake has happened, although it's a pretty significant one in comparison to other mistakes that have happened by other members of the staff. So I'm kind of lost how to deal with it, if I'm being brutally honest, and I'm not sure how best to handle it. Do I go in? Is there some kind of consequence that I need to kind of enforce on behalf of this individual because of the error that's been made? I know obviously worst case scenario in this, you can dismiss people, but that's not even on the table. This person definitely means too much to me to go down that route. But I need to make the scenario or the ramifications of this error, I need to make them very, very clear. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm talking this through now, talking it out loud. I think I'm going to go into the meeting calm, very calm. I'm not going to show any emotion. I'm going to be welcoming and nice, as I normally would be. And I'm just going to talk through, right, what happened, why did this happen, and I'm going to try and explain in very clear terms the ramifications of this error. And let's put a plan of attack together on how we can proactively try and deal with this, and then do some scenario analysis of what could potentially happen in the various outcomes. And we'll plan for worst case. Worst case scenario will be that we have to pay a significant amount of money that we shouldn't have to pay. And fortunately, the business has funds, and it's easily able to cover the financial penalty. But you can't run a business making costly errors like this too frequently. And this is one that is definitely one that shouldn't have happened, and could have easily been avoided. Even to the extent that in these situations, you can actually request additional time for a response. And 9 times out of 10, it's granted for whatever reason. It was just simply that this action or task was misplaced and forgotten. And it was 100% assigned to the person within our systems and processes, which are really good systems and processes, nothing should be missed. So, but I'm fairly certain going in, showing anger or unnecessary emotion is not going to help. This is also an individual who has had some personal challenges over the past few months which need to be taken in consideration, and this is also a person who doesn't respond well to blame and finger pointing. So it needs to be done in a very calm way and a proactive way. All right, this is what's happened, we can't change this now. These are the ramifications. What are we going to do about it? These are the different scenarios that are going to be presented off of the back of this. And this is what we're going to do. And this is what we do in each of the scenarios. And just enforcing the fact that mistakes like this can't happen again. But we are where we are. As long as we don't make the same mistake again, we can move past it. And I think that's the process I'm going to follow. So I think the learnings from my diary today is when someone makes a significant error within your business or your personal life, you generally speaking, you can't change the past. So although the initial emotion is anger, it's frustration, it's disappointment, it's anxiety, I think taking a moment is a sensible play in the first outcome, just to put some perspective on the situation, gather the facts, look at the different scenarios that are going to materialise off of the back of this error, and then when you take it upon yourself to speak to this individual who made the mistake, do not show any aggression, assertiveness or overly strong emotion. Just in a very calming, approachable manner, explain what's happened, the ramifications of what's happened, why it can't happen again, and rather than focus on what's happened, what are we going to do about it? What are the different scenarios that could come out off the back of this, and what do we do in each of those scenarios? And I think that way you can proactively deal with the situation rather than creating a hugely negative issue. And I think by going through this process, it will avoid unnecessary anxiety, overwhelm, stress on the person who made the mistake. Because the reality is, unless that person has hatred towards you, it's highly unlikely that they intentionally made this mistake. And you have to take that into consideration. People make mistakes every single day. We all make mistakes. I make mistakes. And my rule is don't make the same mistake twice. And this is certainly a scenario where this mistake has never been happened by this individual before. So we need to try and reduce the stress and the anxiety of the overarching situation, but proactively deal with the process, the solution, and tackle it from a scenario analysis perspective. So what are the different scenarios that are going to happen off the back of this, and how do we deal with each of them? If you have a plan to deal with each of them, then we can hopefully limit the damage, deal with it, learn from it, and move on. So anyway, thank you for listening to me today. I feel that I've talked this through. I feel much better about it now. And I'm now going to go back and I'm going to send a very short message to this individual to not to worry. We will work this through together and not put any unnecessary stress or anxiety on this individual, because I know 1,000,000,000% this individual would not have meant to have made this mistake. And in that basis, we need to have compassion and deal with it in a logical, proactive damage limitation matter together, and not as a finger pointing blame exercise. So anyway, that's it from me. Questions or comments, drop me a line. I'll respond to everyone. If you believe in my mission of saving the lives of children by attempting the ultimate ultramarathon of run vlogging on consecutive days, distance and lap of the world, barefoot style, then do give this a subscribe, share, like and comment. More people we get in front of, more money we raise, more children's lives we save, which is why I do this every single day. Thank you as always. Stay positive, stay happy. I'll see you again tomorrow.